All right, let's get to our first big story now. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has denied any plan to hike the price of petrol beyond the 145 naira maximum level.
Now, the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division of the NNPC, Mohammed Garabaddin, said the current realities on ground do not support any increase in the pump price. He added that the long-term contracts entered into by the NNPC with buyers and suppliers of petroleum products had addressed the issue of foreign exchange volatility. And Garabaddin also said a new window had been opened for oil marketers to easily access a forex to meet their fuel importation needs.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has increased the price of petrol at its retail outlets by 4 naira. That's from 143 to 145 naira per litre. A report says this is the first time the NNPC will be selling at 145 naira per litre. Independent stations have been selling at 145 naira, while NNPC stations and its affiliates prices have been hovering between 141 and 143 naira per litre.
NNPC spokesperson Garabaddin Mohammed says there is no rule preventing marketers from selling within the range stipulated. The new price is within the maximum price fixed by the federal government since May. Well, does that mean then that all the concerns about fuel increase, there's no basis for that?
Have been taken care of.
Yeah.
But, excuse me,
Okay.
joining us now on phone is oil and gas expert Bala Zaka. Bala, good morning. It's good to have you on right now.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Yeah, good morning. Now we know the impact of speculation, if I have to use the word now, because the NNPC has come to say we don't have the plan to hike the price of fuel, but we're already seeing some action amongst the people. A lot of people have started stockpiling fuel here and there. What is giving rise to this speculation right now?
Well, the reason why people have started stockpiling and people are suspicious is because before now, Nigerians have been given an impression that government may not embark on a given measure. And before people know what's happening, the measures or laws or rules will come in place, and all Nigerians will be left to do will be to continue to bicker. And remember, when you talk about refined products, that has so much effect as far as strategic domestic sector, strategic industrial sector, and strategic commercial sectors are concerned. So once there are any iota of rumor, people are bound to panic, investors are bound to panic, and the entire country is bound to panic.
Now, looking at, the government has said it needs to do a review of the price template of fuel right now. Do we even have the details of this, price template that requires a review?
Not really. I think only the government that can come out and tell us what she has in place. It's just like the petroleum industry deal. It has been broken into so many parts now. And unless you are told exactly from a government representative, you cannot say what is going on. But by the time it comes to the open, then people can deliberate. And we can tell government our positions and our minds. But honestly, regardless of how we look at all these indices, the only solution is internal processing. The only solution is for us to look at local direct investment. As long as we do not make Nigeria to look like a country that can internally refine its product, especially crude oil, we will continue to remain a country of ridicule. Because as we speak now, Nigeria is being cajoled all over the world now that we are the highest producer of crude oil in Africa. But when airlines come into Nigeria, especially international airlines, they will need to go to other smaller countries within Nigeria to fuel up. That on its own is demeaning to the image of Nigeria, to the integrity of Nigeria.
Yes, of course, indeed. But, all of this is happening, we're hearing because, well, there are reports not really confirmed yet, because when Minister of State Ibe Kachukwu himself says he's not aware that the NNPC has increased the price from 141 to 145. And as far as he's concerned, he actually says it is even wrong for the NNPC to, come up with this increase. Yeah, now, the NNPC is saying 145 is no longer sustainable. Where do we go from here?
Well, first of all, why people are suspicious of government, if you remember a couple of months ago, nobody was expecting that the pump price was going to be jacked up from 86 to probably 145. It took a lot of Nigerians by surprise. But before that time, a lot of people were very comfortable with Dr. Kachukwu, and they were very comfortable with the government. But because of the way and manner they were taken a surprise, so you wouldn't really blame Nigerians if they are suspicious. The template and the price can never be sustainable looking at the fragility of the economy today. I mean, the disposable income of Nigerians have eroded. The GDP is probably at its lowest ebb today. The only solution, whatever it will take Nigeria and the Nigerian government, even if no any other sector will be fixed, the oil and gas industry, especially the refinery, will be fixed internally. Because the moment you do that and you start producing and refining these distillates within Nigeria, that will cut you off from exchange rate differential. And once you are free from this forex and exchange rate differential, pressures will even be reduced on central banks. And central bank can direct its foreign currency or whatever support to manufacturers and other investors. As long as we don't do that, I'm telling you, we will continue to experience this. We just have to internally domesticate. That is the only solution. If not, even if you jack it to 200 naira per liter now, it's just a matter of time. It will not be sustainable. But this crude oil is here. We have the refining capabilities. Internal domestication is just the key, not adjustment or playing around with price templates.
All right. Now, the government has said that there is no longer a subsidy, but it is still keeping the price at 100 at a certain level, 145 right now. If what's the differentials in there if there is no subsidy and then it is said to be left to float? And they can't float beyond a certain level. How do we explain that?
You cannot say you don't have subsidy and you allow prices to float. You cannot say you don't have subsidy and you will tell people to go and look for foreign currency to import these goods. You cannot. One thing Nigeria must do is this. The truth is this, that sector has been deregulated. But what we were supposed to do as Nigeria is to liberalize the sector. When you liberalize the sector, then you can protect your economy. The Nigerian economy is too weak for deregulation. The Nigerian economy is too weak for Nigeria not to enjoy subsidy. The Nigerian economy is too weak for the government not to protect Nigerians. The only way out is, since you already have the raw material here, whatever it will take, even if it will take 4 years of this government to fix only one refinery, fix it. Then reduce the pressure on foreign exchange. Reduce pressure on foreign exchange differential. Let CBN do other. That is the only way.
But that's what the CBN is saying. Bala Zakka, if I may come in here, the CBN, Emefiele, the CBN governor, he's saying that, a leeway has been provided for these oil marketers in such a way that they're able to, make a profit of about 30 naira, as it is now. And, they can get the dollar at some 280, between 280 and 301 naira to the dollar. And this allows for them to make enough profit so that there is no need for us to even begin to discuss, any increase. At least it's too early as far as they're concerned now. So you know, how realistic, how sustainable really is this regime right now?
It will be very, very temporal. In fact, it will be transient in terms of the sustainability, because it's just a question of time. If the naira continues to depreciate, if the naira continues to fall, it will just be a question of time, and the current price template will not be sustainable, and the pressure will go back to central bank.
All right.
Once you internally domesticate, you will not be bothered about what is happening to the foreign currency. Just like any other country, we can always import spare parts. Every country imports one thing or the other to help them process their raw materials. We will continue to import spare parts or tools too.
All right. Okay, Bala Zakir, let's put you on hold a little. We'll come back to you shortly. We'll be going on break right now, but certainly after the break, we'll be going out on TVC Entertainment. The viewers there can continue with TVC Breakfast on Concert Channel 190 and DSTV Channel 418.
You can also continue to enjoy the show on GoTV 45 and ACTV 510. Stay with us. Well, the reports of a possible review of the fuel price template by the federal government, there are concerns that there might be an upward review of the price of fuel, but of course government has said no such thing, and that's not sustainable. That's not going to be done, because oil marketers have been given some kind of advantage in such a way that they will not need to increase fuel price anytime soon. Our guests on the phone is Bala Zakir, an oil and gas expert, talking to us about this this morning. Now, Bala, let me bring this to your notice. Now, Senate Committee on Petroleum says henceforth the DPR should prepare and forward the daily product records of oil and gas in the country. All this while there's been no clear record of how much Nigeria sells on a daily basis. How does this come to you? I mean, does it mean all these years we've been selling oil and the National Assembly, the legislature, they don't even know how much fuel we sell or how much we're even making from it?
No, as far as how much we produce, I can tell you that if anybody says Nigerians cannot come up with that figure, then it's an insult on the intellect of Nigerians. We know exactly how much we produce. We know exactly how it is pumped, and it can be calculated. That is one of the simplest arithmetic, not even the mathematics.
So why are they giving the impression that they are being sidelined in the scheme of things?
No, they are not. You see, anybody who tells you that, then that person has not practically worked in oil field. Anybody who has practically worked on the oil field and has been on either platforms or on drilling rigs or flow stations will tell you that we can always determine that. We know the quantity of sand we produce, we will know the quantity of oil, we will know the quantity of gas we produce. That is always known. We also know the quantity of water we produce. But when you talk about collusion, when you talk about criminality, that is a different thing. But as far as that calculation of the crude oil is concerned, at every point in time, Nigerians can estimate it on the rig or on the platform. And remember, when those calculations are done, the operating companies will be there, the Department of Petroleum Resources will be there, other security agents will be there, then engineers will be there. So we can always come up with the figures. What we don't know is the consumption of distillate, in this case diesel and petrol. That's what we cannot exactly tell you, because we don't have electricity today. Then what I call the strategic domestic sector, strategic industrial sector, and strategic commercial sector are all depending on generators that are either powered by petrol or diesel. So you say we don't really know the quantities of petrol or diesel that we need for self-sufficiency. I will agree with you. But as far as the crude oil is concerned, we know that we can estimate it, and it's not very difficult to except someone who doesn't have the practical working experiences of how productions take place.
All right. Bala Zakka, thank you very much for talking to us on this morning, and we certainly will be following up and we will talk more on other issues. Thank you, Bala Zakka.